tell me, you did so many different projects. What are you most proud of all the things you've done so far? Building businesses, telecom revolution in India, all these little projects. What are you most proud of? When you look back, there must be so many things, but
I would say I'm most proud of CDOT, Center for Development of Telematics, which was the first seed I was allowed to plant
in India.
in India. And that seed gave me confidence, support, recognition, and everything grew out of that.
Was that a private
No, it was
initiative or was
government.
it
It was government initiative. There's nothing private. It was government initiative, government funded it. I was advisor on CDOT and a lot of young people worked on it. And that was the beginning of a different journey in India for me. So of course I'm very proud of CDOT and CDOTians, all the young kids who worked at CDOT.
And what was it that made you proud of that? What happened? What
They
was
got
the
it
outcome?
done. Outcome was in 3 years for $36 million, we were supposed to design digital switching systems for India, which included rural exchange, PABX, telephone exchange from scratch using C++ in those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a strong language, yeah.
Unix.
Good
Nobody
platform.
knew
Yeah.
what Unix meant in those days in India. Okay. I mean, I'm sure a few people knew, but the average guy didn't know. And we had to use microprocessors. We had to develop printed circuit boards of our own. We had to, nobody made printed circuit boards in India, multi-layer. Okay. So we had to cabinet, the rack. Nobody made racks in India. So we had to make racks ourselves. So mechanical, electrical, chemical, everything had to come together. Nobody made audio transformers for telecom. Okay, they made it for entertainment. And telecom transformers are very special because it has mu metal. Okay, and nobody knew any of these things. So we had to start from scratch. And that, I would say, was the most interesting, exciting time of my life. And then technology missions. Those two were the key.
So they say for every success there is several failures, for every person. What was your biggest failure which you learned a good lesson from? They say the failure is really opportunity to learn.
I don't think there is
You
a
don't
big,
see it as a failure.
I don't see
You said
anything
learning
as a failure. It's a
opportunities.
learning opportunity. But nothing failed really. I mean, 1 or 2 businesses did work out, but irrelevant. I didn't pay attention to it. One business did work out, I just gave it to my friend. I said, you run it.
Yeah.
Okay, another business didn't work out. I just sold it to somebody saying, would you buy it and run it? He said, oh, that's a great idea. I sold it. Irrelevant, a few $100,000 here and there. That was not the goal in life.
And for the people, the young generation who's coming up now, and they want to make things happen, make big happen, how do they do it? Where do they get the courage from, and where do they start from?
You first have to build a good self. Good self is something only you can build. Nobody teaches you about it. You have to build a self that is confident, respectful, honest, ethical, creative, disciplined, a self that respects other people's views, other people's desires, a self that is grounded in service, a self that always sticks to truth, trusts people, even though you don't know them.
Yeah.
Okay, don't second guess them, just start with trust. Don't start with mistrust. And you lose. And some people take you for a ride, that's okay. So, it is very difficult to build that self. If you build that self, everything else flows according to me. But to build that self requires huge soul searching. You have to be honest to yourself. A lot of people are not honest to themselves. They see problems in others, they don't see problems in themselves. Okay. When you try to analyze yourself, you have to realize that these are my problems. Okay. It's easy to say problem is there, there, and there. It's very difficult to say problem is here. Okay. So I would say if you start with a very good, strong self, which is fearless, Gandhiji was fearless. You have to be fearless. There's no fear in doing this, or there's no fear in, trying to do something different, new, something unusual. And when you do those kinds of things, then you learn. Yeah. And life is a journey. Don't get too excited about celebrating success.
Right.
Okay.
Creating a balance.
Yeah, it's a journey. So
Yeah.
something
Enjoy the
succeeds,
journey.
something will fail.
Yes.
And if it fails, it's okay. If it succeeds, it's okay. Move on,
Yeah.
okay, to the next thing. And don't judge your success based on financial success or publicity or what other people will say. You got to be independent of other people's opinion.
That's very important.
Okay? You have to say, look, I know what I am, and it doesn't matter what other people think. I respect that. Okay? But I've corrected myself, and I'm not doing anything to impress somebody. I'm doing it because it needs to be done. Tough.
Another question I always thought about when I was reading your book and reading your biography, you are clearly very influenced by Gandhi. If you had to pick another leader apart from Gandhi, you could have dinner with tonight, and it could be somebody who's dead or alive. Who do you admire so much that you would want to meet with them and have conversation?
First Gandhi, second Einstein.
Why Einstein?
Because he had this mind which could imagine things that nobody could imagine. All his research came out of paper and pencil, not out of experiments, computer science, not out of analysis, analytics. He just could imagine and see what is happening in the universe. He could look at galaxy and see how forces are moving. He convinced me in my own way that imagination is more powerful than anything you can think of.
And if it had to be a political leader or a business leader, who would you?
Business leader, I haven't paid much attention to. Mandela would be very interesting to me. Okay, again, sacrifice.
Yeah.
See, I don't get impressed because the guy made a lot of money and guy developed interesting products. It's okay, fine. It's nice. I'm not undermining. Please,
Right.
don't get me wrong. Okay, Jack Welch made a contribution, Bill Gates made a contribution, Steve Jobs made a contribution. Great. Okay, but there are hundreds of those.
Yeah.
Michael Dell, Elon Musk, or you can just name, 500 of those. They belong to different category than Gandhi and Einstein and Mandela's of the world. I want to really look at people who are dedicated to service and not dedicated to building a business. Building a business is good.
Yeah.
They
Which is
should do
very
that.
hard too.
Fine, so then do that. That's okay. But there are lots of people doing
Who
it.
do, yes.
Okay. How do you make impact on large number of people? Okay, is the real challenge. Leadership is all about changing lives of millions and millions and millions. You can do that by designing products. You can do that by providing services. And you can also do that by inspiring people. Martin Luther King, was an example. Okay. But a lot of this work is unfinished. Gandhi's work is unfinished. Martin Luther King's work is unfinished. Mandela's work is unfinished. After they left, people have not been able to keep up. Okay. Gandhi's India is not the India we have today. South Africa is not what Mandela wanted.
Yeah.
Status of blacks in America is not what Martin Luther King wanted. But they ignited. Okay. And that fire has not been kept alive.
And how does that happen? How does?
Because you don't have people following them. Okay. You have people who discuss them, debate them, but don't follow them. After Gandhi, who followed Gandhi? After Mandela, who followed Mandela?
There were big sacrifices you need extraordinary people to follow that through.
And people could say, oh, you didn't build a team. You know, there's a standard management
Yeah.
jargon. Okay, you failed to build team. You failed to have a succession plan. It doesn't work that way.
So what would you like to be remembered for?
I don't think I need to be remembered for anything. Why should I be remembered for anything? People will forget. People forget Gandhiji. Why should they remember me? I have no idea. I wouldn't even think like that. I've never even thought like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, my children and my grandchildren will remember me as a father and grandfather, and I don't think the third generation would even know who I was.
Right. So you do the good you do and you
So
forget
there are
about
two
it.
generations who will remember me.
Yeah.
And some friends and family would remember that guy was
course.
good. When you die, they'll say that guy was good. Maybe for a week, 10 days, they'll feel sorry. And after a month, they'll go on do their routine thing. That's what they should do anyway.
Yes.
Why should they worry?
Exactly. Because
You
what
know?
you did was a
Yeah,
contribution
that's
to
what
the world.
They'd have to run their life. But my children will miss me a little more, and my
Yeah.
grandchildren will miss me a little.
Yes, of course.
But their children will have no idea who this guy was. So it doesn't matter.
So you do the best you can and you move
You
on.
do it because it needs to be done.
Right.
Okay. Everybody has a journey. You go through your journey in the way you want to go through.
Right.
But don't get hung up on how would I be remembered, what is my contribution in the world, and all bogus. No meaning to me.
Do the best you can every day.
That's it. That's it. And don't worry about what other people will say, what contribution you made. There is no balance sheet on your life.
That's true. I had such a great time talking to Sam. Every time I talk to Sam, I feel like I could probably go on for hours and hours. Thank you so much for talking
Okay,
to
I
me.
hope
and-
this was useful.
Yes, absolutely. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I